The birth of a child does not start the fatherhood journey. It starts when you know you're going to become a father. When you find out that's your journey, that's the start of your journey. Once that child is born, you're a good dad. What is up? Ed Gow Jr., Dad Central Show and Dad Central, and the Reno King is beside me.
Well, that's a term of endearment. I'm not the Reno King yet. Come check in with me around the beginning of September, and I will let you know.
All right.
Drew Solon of Dad Central and the Dad Central Show.
Fantastic. So the Dad Central Show is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. Dove Men Plus Care believes that care is the best of a man, because when men care for themselves and others, there's a positive impact. And today, we're going to have another interesting topic. What an easy question to answer. How to be a good dad. Isn't that easy, Drew?
Ooh, easy. You set me up there, big guy. Easy, simple maybe, but not easy.
Okay. So in this episode, we're going to learn the keys, or you're going to learn the keys to being a good dad, the number one thing to remember, and what research says matters most. So before we get into the conversation, Drew, what are your thoughts before we dive in?
Well, I mean, it's an important question. I bet if you check to Google, a lot of people are asking. I wonder, when I was becoming a dad, I knew my past experiences really shaped my perspective. My upbringing shaped a lot of my perspective, but that wasn't complete, because in the 11 years since I've become a father, 11 plus years, there's so much that I didn't know that I've learned, and there's so much I know that there's still to learn. So when you say it's an easy question to answer, we're going to do our best today to dispel or share some of the key things from research, but also our own lived experiences, and in a way that will hopefully for you, the listener, you'll have something very tangible you can take away and hopefully take action on right away to support your goals of being the best dad you can be.
Yeah, I don't think any dad wants to be a bad dad.
Yeah.
Right? But many think they're not a good dad.
Great point.
Just came out of my alleged mind. It just came out of my alleged mind. None of the guys want to be a bad, but they never feel, or either good or good enough dad.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I think it's a really interesting point, but a lot of truth to it. And we're going to do another show about that idea of maybe not feeling good enough or feeling like you're making mistakes as dad. So, check that one out too. But it's a really good to be mindful of. We often struggle with feeling good enough, and how do we work through that? And I personally believe thinking about your own childhood experiences really contributes to that. Your own experience with your father or father figures in your life, or lack thereof, often contribute a lot to that. So it's similar to the question we're going to be talking about today. It's about as wide and deep as it gets, and there's a lot of variability within it.
I want to add on to this, because I'm almost in all cases, dads will reflect on their experience if they had a father, because not all dads had a father, but the fatherhood experience that they have had, whether it was there or not, I have a feeling leans a lot into the good dad scenario. And I know this may be a time for you even to talk about this part in general with the three areas. Also the research. I think the research that you're going to bring to the table are going to be very interesting. So I'll let you continue.
Okay. Well, for my benefit, I guess, I've learned as being part of Dad Central what this research says. But even before I learned that, there was something that I just felt naturally for myself. But I want to share the simple piece of step number one how to be a good dad, and we've got a great booklet, actually. I'll say it's called Involved Fathers. And in it, we say it all starts with your child. Your child is the beginning of how to be a good dad and understanding what your child needs. Every child is, yes, unique and different, but there are also some fundamental areas that every child needs. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you remember that from grade school or high school when you studied that, there are these 6 areas that children need and have needs. Some of those are physical needs, some of them are emotional needs, some of those are responsibility needs and provision needs. So it's knowing those needs is the starting point for being a good dad. So it's really not that complicated, and you can look to your child and work with your partner and look at a lot of pieces of information to help you know, okay, what does my child need, and that's going to change at every age and stage. Another great resource we have, not to confuse you or send you to multiple places, but another great resource we have are these things called clues and cues, and it is child development milestones or their needs from birth all the way up to 6 years of age. And it has, here's what your child's social, emotional, cognitive, etc. Milestones are, and here's what you can do as dads to help support their development at this stage. Really valuable. Again, one of the challenges I face as a young dad is, what are the expectations for my child at this age and stage? And some of my expectations were out of line with what developmental stages were. So, step number one to being a good dad is really understanding what are your child's needs. You have some great points to add here too, Ed.
Once in a while, I find something valuable to come out of my mouth, but no, I think that this is really good too. And the good dad thing, I think that we have to take it right from the beginning. Once that child is born, you're a good dad. You have brought.
I'm going to throw in here a friendly amendment.
Go ahead.
Even before the child is born, and it goes through your attitude and your support for your partner, the child's mother, through pregnancy.
No, this is a really good point you're landing on, because the birth of a child does not start the fatherhood journey.
You're absolutely right.
Of a child is not the beginning of the fatherhood journey. It starts when you know you're going to become a father, not when the child comes out. When you find out, that's your journey. That's the start of your journey. And I think it's interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting. I wonder how many dads would say, when did you start thinking about becoming a father? Like, and I'm sure some would think, not till that child came out. Just a thought, but that's a really good, it's a really good key point there, that your father journey starts when you know you're going to become a father.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to put that out there. That was good. But yeah, being a good dad, yeah, and again, there's so many different factors on that. But one of the things I do share with the fathers, dads, and male caregivers that I assist is that just work on getting a little bit better each day. Little bit better each day. And when you have those great fatherhood moments, celebrate them in real time. Because fatherhood is an overwhelming at times journey. Celebrate those little wins. It goes back to about a year and a half ago, Drew had asked me to do some presentations for groups of fathers at different family centers. And I'll never forget this story. I was with a group of men, some of them elders, some of them younger men. So you had some grandfathers there and some fathers. And I emphasized or just shared how important it was to, one of the key things of being a good dad is spending quality time with your child. And one gentleman said, yeah, I spend great time with he just put his hand up. I'm going, okay, if you're going to talk the talk, let's see you walk the walk. I say, so tell me, when do you spend time with your child? He says, 11 o'clock at night. I go, 11 o'clock at night, guy? Like, isn't your child supposed to be in bed at that time? He says, no, I work an afternoon shift. I say, okay, so what do you do when you get home? oh, my little son is waiting for me, and we go out and drive around in the car at 11 o'clock at night. That's part of being a good dad. That's part of
Absolutely.
yeah. Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, that father is already thinking about his child before he even gets home. He's got a routine that's in place. His child is obviously eagerly awaiting that. And he's got a partner who supports that, even though most would be like, no, kid, especially if it's a young child, should be asleep at 11. Well, the fact that there's so many good things about that story, demonstrating the power and importance of creating that time together. And while many dads might often think like time, and in no way am I saying time is not important, but what research says is that the most important or influential factor for the quality of the relationship between a father and a child. And so answering this question of how to be a good dad really comes down to understanding that the research is clear. You can have lots of time with your child, but if the quality of the relationship is not as strong, it's not a warm, loving, caring relationship where the child feels loved, unconditionally accepted, and supported by you as the dad, then there isn't as strong of an effect. And we know the amazing positive effects when a child has a positively involved father. So that's the goal here is how can you be positively involved knowing that every father's journey is different, every context is different, every challenge every family faces is different. But the fundamentals are understanding your child's needs, doing your absolute best to meet those needs with the hand that you've been dealt or the situation life is presenting to you, and focusing on developing the quality relationship with your child that is a warm, loving, caring, unconditionally accepting relationship.
I just want to add one little thing to what you just shared there, and being intentional.
Yeah, that doesn't happen by accident.
Right? Being intentional. So, making sure that there's intentional time that's not going to interrupt those things from happening. It doesn't have to be a great amount of time. Again, as Drew said, the quality. So make sure those things, those action steps are intentional, like almost time blocking it in your calendar. And there has to be an emergency for it not to happen because your child and your children are counting on that time to improve you as a dad and them as a child. So there we go.
Yeah, so really to summarize, you want to know and understand your child's needs. Some of them are fundamental, and you can meet those in various ways. Every parent has the ability to do that. Focus on the quality of the relationship you have with your child and understand their age and stage of development. So, our best support for you, take this information. You can download our booklet, Involved Fathers, and you can also get a copy of our clues and cues by going to dadcentral.ca to download those resources.
Yeah, and just to add on to what Drew just said as an additional summary, being a good dad involves a combination of qualities, behaviors, and attitudes that contribute to the well-being and the development of child and children. So, as I always like to say, thank you so much for taking the most important thing in your world to spend with us, your time. And as always, don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and we'll see you soon. Take care.